Hi everyone, Nicholas Lee here and welcome to day 14 of the Duty to Sell challenge. Today I have something really powerful to share with you, and this is something that I would have hoped someone would have told me, given to me at the start of my journey, but this is something that I worked on and I believe has helped me to be successful in this field. As some of you may know or may have realized, your mental game in the game of sales, persuasion, influence, and business, and also in life, to be fair, is one of the most important ability you may have. As we know, sales is not a linear thing. You may have great days where you're closing every deal you speak to, everyone you work with, and you make a lot of money. But you could also have terrible days, and I've had them, where I've had 10 calls and everything just went really badly. Or you also may have weeks when everything goes terribly wrong and you can't close a door, you can't make a sale, nothing is going your way. Or you could have a terrible month, a terrible year. It's how you keep yourself in control of your own mental game so you keep going through. Because the point is, you may have heard, the best diamonds are made under pressure, and the stronger you can be resilient through those tough times, the stronger you're going to come out of it. So today I'm going to talk about how to control your mental game, or you lose. Because if you can't control your mental game, you are going to go into a downward spiral very quickly, and some people get into depression and all of those crazy parts. So the goal here is to help you to stay afloat, stay active, and keep on pushing until you achieve where you want to go. Cool, so let's dive into this right now. So, control the mental game of selling, or it controls you. Now, one of the key things I wanted to cover in terms of the mental game, and again, it still revolves around the idea of the RAS, because to me that's the most important thing. If you choose where your mind goes, if you choose how you decide to see things, all right, or like some of the great people out there, they've said, where your focus goes, energy goes. So if your focus is on the bad things and the sad things, your energy will go there. But if you focus on what's good and what you can do and find solutions to things, you will always look at the great things and just keep on getting better. So a very important thing for you to realize mentally is that as the person with the business, you are the one with the solution. Okay? And if people are coming to you to buy a product, to buy a solution, to buy a service, that means they have the problem. What that also presupposes is that if they've got the problem and they are still coming to you right now, that means they haven't solved the problem, and that the problem is big enough for them to want to find a solution. Because let's be honest, we all go through so many problems in our lives on a day-to-day basis, but not all of them are priorities that we want to go and find solutions for them. Okay, so if someone's coming to you, that presupposes they have a problem that needs to be solved. On the other side, if they haven't solved the problem, that means they are not experts in that field because they haven't solved the problem. At the same time, if you have the solution, most likely you have solved the problem for yourself, but also you may have already solved the problem for others, which puts you in a much better position than them for knowing how to solve the problem. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Nicholas, I'm quite new to offering my services, my products, and I've only recently solved it. Now, let me give you something that really changed my perspective on that. Think about it, right? Let's take the example of someone who wants to learn to drive a car. Or even someone who doesn't even realize driving a car requires a skill. Even if you're just new and you've just learned to drive a car and you've just got your license, of course, make sure you can do it in a good way and you've got the qualification if you need that as well. But if someone is just trying to learn to drive and you've been driving only for 6 months, only for 3 months, but you're confident that you can drive and you can teach someone to do it, even if you've only been doing it for 3 months, would you agree that you are way ahead of someone that has never started to learn to drive? In the same way, let's say you've now driven for 10 years and someone is just learning to drive and it's been a year, 2 years, would you agree that you can help them to get better as to what they're going? Because in everything in life, there are different levels, there are different nuances that you can always learn from someone with more experience, someone with more skills, right? Challenges, issues that they've had to solve. And the reason they come to you is they want to solve the problem faster. The point is, anyone can go and find solutions to what they want to do by trial and error. And it might take them 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. But by coming to you and paying you, it's like them getting a faster path or vehicle to get to their goals. In the same way, right, you coming to me with this, doing this challenge right now, right, either you're very new to the sales world or to business, you've never heard that sales is a thing, that you can make more money, that you can have higher prices, that you can close deals faster, that you can have all of those things regarding sales. Even if I were just to teach you the first 5 days of my challenge, I strongly believe that it would still be worth money to learn from me. Because it took me years and years and thousands of calls to figure those things out. And those trial and errors, those issues, I've had to overcome them so I can bring them to you to save you time, money, and heartaches and fears and all of those issues, right? But also bring that support, this accountability to get you to your goals faster and to also increase your chances of getting there. In the same way, you may realize that what I'm teaching you here on the 30-day challenge is just too basic for you and you've already filled that in, which is great. That could mean you could have helped someone else who is not where you are yet to get to where they want to go, which is where you are. At the same time, if you want to then take your skills to the next level, you may have already seen in my classrooms, there's already 3, 4, 5 different levels and layers you can get to, which you can go and study on your own. But at the same time, if you want to get faster results, I see myself a bit as a doctor. If someone comes with me with different problems on sales, on business, I like to give them prescriptions of things they can do to get results faster rather than take a long time to get to where they want to get to. Also, the other key thing I want to mention here is you have the solution. So the person coming to you, the prospects coming to you, need you more than you need them. Now, I'm just going to see this right now because it may not make full sense what I'm saying right now, but I'm going to keep on sharing this concept a few times over the next few days in the other trainings, and hopefully that will get to a place in your mind where you do realize that you are the one who has the solution. Therefore, they need you more than you need them. Actually, if you want to write this down as an aha moment for today, your prospects need you more than you need them. This is what we talk about in sales, where you want to be detached from the sale, because whether this person pays you and works with you or doesn't, nothing really changes for you, because you're going to keep on helping the other person that's willing to take the step to pay you to work with you. Okay, so that's kind of a key point I wanted to mention in terms of perspective of you having the solution and them having the problem. So hopefully that shows you the importance of wanting to sell, but knowing that you don't need them. Now, the next part I wanted to share with you is what I called, we've been through the Dragon's Vault. So I want to clarify the importance of the Dragon's Vault. Let's go back to the Dragon's Vault. So as you may know, you have access to the Dragon's Forge. Now, the Dragon's Vault, just to clarify, the goal of the Dragon's Vault is to help you to remember the amazing achievements you've made in your life, because as we know, success breeds on success. And the key thing is people tend to forget or tend to take for granted the amazing things they've done in life as they grow and as they realize that some of the things you've achieved are just now part of your own world. That translates to the things you've done for yourself that you're now offering as a service or as a product. For you, those are easy things to do. But for someone who has a problem and who hasn't solved the problem, that is still amazing value for them. Us building this Dragon's Vault will confirm to you the value you can bring to others. Okay, so that's more around the bigger picture, around what you've done in your life, with your kids, with your family, even in business, if you want to write them there, of course. But what I want to create today and share with you is what I call the Dragon's Hoard. By calling it hoard, I mean it's a bit like the dragons going to their caves to bring their trophies, to bring the things that they've achieved. But this one is really about sales, persuasion, influence, because this is related to what we're doing today, helping you build this ability that you know you can influence, close deals, make more money, and help people with their lives. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this. Go and read through this part on your own. But my point here is, I want you to start to think about the deals that you're closing on a day-to-day basis or that you've closed in the past. Okay, the more data you want to keep, the better it is, right? Like for me, as an example, I was never asked to do this, but I kind of started to do it unconsciously, because what I started to do was I used to have my calls recorded, and every time I would close a deal, I would save them. The first few I closed, I saved them. But eventually those became easy, right? I've closed like more than 350 deals, right? So those became easy. So I can't really keep 350 deals. What I did keep eventually was the harder deals that I had to do extra work to close. For example, whenever there was a big objection that I had to handle, that would go into my Dragon's Hoard, which is a folder of my kind of real calls, which I will be sharing with you at some level, more at the premium level, to be honest, because I can't share it with everyone, because I will also dissect how I was overcoming those calls and what was going on in my head and why it worked. But I was keeping those amazing calls so I could go back to them every single time I would have a tough day, a tough week, a tough month in my sales career. And this is what I would suggest you also do, whether you are closing as a sales agent, closer person, or whether you're closing for your own business. The more you can record them and keep them in your mind and come back to it, the stronger you will have as a backup to when things are going terribly bad in your business, right? So two things you could do. You could record your calls and keep them in folders so you can come back to them and listen back to them for two reasons. One reason for going back to previous calls that went really well is that as you go along and you get really successful, you tend to be complacent. You might be cutting corners, missing things. I kind of went back to my default of not being as emotional on my calls, and that affected my results. So by listening back to some of my calls allowed me to get results back to where it should be. But more importantly, when you get terrible situations where, 3, 4, 5 people are not closing and you don't know why, because some of it might just be a case of randomness of sales, going back to those calls you've closed will prove to you that you're still good at doing this. And this is why it's important to keep track, and I call it the Dragon's Hoard, to keep, a hoard of, or a list of all of the really good closes you've done. So for me, for example, I've written a short list there, but I can very quickly have 100 of them easily here. So for me, I've got like how I've closed my first deal at an event for 6K, for 15K, how I've built a board of directors with people that should not really want to work with me, a 30-year-old young guy, but I got people at 65 to want to work with me, be chairman on my board. I had the head of private equity from one of the top law firms to want to work with me, and I only gave him 1% of the company. I persuaded the 5th largest accounting firm to work with me on deferred fees, meaning it's for free until I close a deal. Same for the 15th largest law firm. I had the bank ready to lend me £400,000. Then I closed $10,000 deals, $6,500 deals. I closed a company for only £33. So all of those things, and I could add more in terms of personal things that I've done, using my ability to close, ability to sell, to help people in their personal life. There's a lot more I can do here for my clients, for my cousins, for people around me. And the point is, the more you can have here, whenever you have a downtime, or whenever there's something that doesn't go well in your life and you're getting a bit scared that things are not going your way, coming back to your Dragon's Vault and reading it again will bring your focus to what has gone well in your life rather than looking at what has gone wrong. Again, getting our RAS to think about those. By it being as specific as you can be, this will also bring back good emotions to you, because some of those were challenges that you had to overcome. Some of them were hard times that you had to go through to achieve. So it will remind you that you can go through hard times and come back out winners. Same for the Hoard. When you're struggling with your sales, go back to this, because this is only going to be about persuasion, sales. So I want this Hoard here to be more about business, about deals you've closed. And those are the things you would want to use when you're listing out the wins in your life, okay, that you're sharing with the community, which you're putting in the group. Because again, like I said, as a team, as a group, as a community here, we are going to be able to really inspire others, show others that even when things are going tough, we can come back stronger. You will be able to inspire others, others will be able to inspire you, and there will be a lot of learning from each other that will help us get better and stronger with this skill. So I hope that makes sense in terms of what we're doing here. As usual, if things don't make sense and you're not sure, feel free to post in the group, ask me questions, I'm here to help. All right, so that was this one. Importance of the Dragon's Vault, the Dragon's Hoard. Now, I've already filled some of those. I'll also quickly share with you where my real calls are. But like I said, this will most likely be at the premium level because I can't really share that with anyone for free, because it's very valuable. And yeah, it's more personal as well. So let me share with you how you can now fill out the Dragon's Hoard and update the community with that one. So again, as you go, I've already shared with you what I've written here. I would say do read these. And also I've given you some probes if you want to go deeper into some of those kind of real calls you've had, real conversations. Doesn't need to be recorded, by the way. You can just use your mind and rewrite what was it that you closed, what made it hard, how did you close it, what did this prove about you, and also what did you learn from it, right? Feel free to share those with us if you want, because I'm sure, again, that's going to inspire others. I'll learn a bit more about you, which would be amazing. If you wanted to create a recordings vault, you can also put the details here so you can come back to them. Okay, now let me show you quickly what I have as my own folder, of course. Okay, so here's me with my good closing calls folder. As you can see, I've got different people's kind of calls with them, with their kind of first name and what kind of deals I've closed or what kind of objections I had to handle. So for example, Andrew, I had to help him with finding money. I had a fear objection with Jillian. I had think about it here, not knowing what to do, cost of inaction. So all of those were different areas that I proved that I could do well. And so I like to keep those to show myself. When I'm struggling to close deals, I can come back to this and I can see what I did well and what I did wrong and how I can get better. The other things I like to do as well is keep track of my leaderboards. So I'm not going to put that up now because the names are still on it, but I will show you at some point some of the examples of my leaderboards where I was the top or the first two, and I did really well in terms of closing rates, cash collected, all of those good data. So whenever I'm struggling, I'll go back to this and I'll feel good about myself, knowing that I can do it again. So I would suggest in your life, in your business, keep track of those numbers, those data, so you can always come back when things get tough, because that is something we know will happen. Life is not linear. It's going to be ups and downs. So as long as you can protect your mind, your mental game, with having something to cover you up when things are really tough, you will be in a good position to keep going with things. Okay, so now we're going to go for the rest, which is, if you go back to day 14, which is what you should have accessed now, I'm gonna refresh this. The video you're watching now should be up here. Then at the bottom, you're gonna have the My Dragons Hoard. Okay, I'm gonna change the name actually. We're gonna call it day 14 Duty to Sell My Dragons Hoard. Okay, you can read for that, and the goal here is that everyone, as you go along, you can add the information. So, put as many as you can. I hope you've got loads, because this is what's going to help you. If you don't want to share, that's okay as well. But if you were to share, that would be amazing, because that means everyone can also get inspired by you. Two ways I would say you can add it to the comments here, so people can see what you have achieved and, congratulate you, and we can all help each other and inspire each other. So that keeps it very clean here. At the same time, if you wanted to create a new thread just for your one, you can also go Nicholas Lee, My Dragons Hoard. You can even put the date. So today's the 20th of February. Then you can put the list as to where it is right now. So for me, I've got 13 in the list. What could happen here is if you create your own one, I'm going to put that in the wins, okay? And what you could do with that is every few months when you're updating and this list is getting longer and longer, you can come back. Let me show you. Okay, we're going to put that in the wins section. We're going to go back to the wins section, find your Dragon's Hoard. And what you could do as you add more to this, okay, I'm just going to say, let's say 17 now. You can come back and put a comment and put that you've got now 4 more. Okay, in that way, this becomes your own kind of record as to how much you've grown over the next month, 2 months, 6 months. And this is a great place for people to see and inspire others that you are constantly improving, growing. And even for me, right? I would love to see how much you're growing, how much more you're doing. And I'll be honest, there will be rewards for people that get to 100 or keeps on building in those things. And, I don't know yet because it's quite new as a community, but maybe we turn that into an awards ceremony, because the more you guys can do this, the more I know you're going to succeed. And the more I can reward you with that, that will encourage everyone to do more. And I believe this will help everyone just make more money, close more deals, and be stronger with the sales skills. All right, so that's the next one. Let's go to the tracker now. So you've watched day 14, you've filled the Dragon's Eye. So again, usual, go back to the Dragon's Eye. So I've done mine here. Okay, so I'm going to tick that one. I've done the Dragon's Hoard. Now let's do the community post. Okay, so if you go back to the classroom, go to phase 1. Let's go to day 14. And as you can see, the one here, day 14, the Duty to Sell challenge. We're going to click on it. As usual, guys, you know the drill now. You copy this, paste that in the comments, okay? And then here we're going to say, yes, you've done the exercise. Yes, you've posted about it. Okay, then we're going to add the good things, okay, that did come through. copy this one. We're going to put good things, put your name on here. The ahas, let me just write a few. Okay, so since you've been doing this more and more now, I hope things are making more sense, what we're trying to achieve. So remember, the dragon's eye is more for you as a habit on a daily basis to find 5 very simple things that happen to you that are good, right? Very simple. For me, like you can say, I had fun playing cards with my family, I had good conversations with my business partner, excited about my next step. Could be anything. Could be, oh, I love how the sky is blue today, right? And actually, I would have written a lot more here. Then you've got the ahas, which is any learnings you've got from today's videos, today's training, or anything you've learned from things you've done in business today, right? So I've put a few from today's training here. And the wins. Now the wins, initially, it may have looked a bit weird what I was asking you to do, but the wins is a lot around what was a great thing, what was an achievement in a way for the day. Could have been something about a conversation you've had with your kid. It could be something you've achieved. It could be a sale you've closed, by the way. So if you close 3 sales, that is 3 wins in itself. And by the way, I'm writing 3, but feel free to write 4, 5, 6, 10 wins if you do have them, right? Again, it's about inspiring others, inspiring yourself, and allowing people to learn how to think about those things. Because I believe that the more you can hear from others and the way they are seeing life, the more you're going to be able to see yourself and open your eyes a lot more with the dragon's eye. Okay, so we have those. We're now going to add the tracker, which is this tracker here, and I'm going to move my face so you can see the numbers. We're going to put the post. So then let's do what we've been doing. Copy. Make sure that the number is there. Then you're going to copy, paste here. Now we're going to find the share. Okay, we're going to highlight, click here, link. Okay, and then you just comment. And as we've done in the previous days, you go and right click on community. And we're going to create a post for all of those so they can be easily tracked and shared by everyone. So let's go for the good things. Copy. We're going to go down to Dragon's Eye. I'm going to put this one here. Control X to cut and to paste back. It's in the Dragon's Eye category. We're good. Post. Okay, so we're good with that one. Next one, we're going to go for the ahas. And again, it's important for me to see your ahas so I can improve the training, provide new training that would help you. The more feedback I can get from you guys, the more I can make all of those training a lot better going forward and really know what you guys are struggling with, what you need more help with. So feel free to post, and sharing those in those different sections will make a big difference for what I can do for you guys. Okay, so we're going to have in the wins, post, and that's it. So that's it from me for today, and I'll speak to you tomorrow where we're going to dive into the next section, which is the reconditioning side of things. Tomorrow is going to be about language, about how important knowing what words you're using in your everyday life is impacting your RAS, is impacting what you're seeing in your life. So hopefully I can help you take this to a new place so that you can really take your own life, your business, and your money to a new place. All right, speak to you later. Bye.